Evacuate to a safe place, away from construction sites, underground spaces, and areas prone to frequent flooding. If you're driving, do not stop the car. Instead, slowly drive through the flooded area without stopping.
What should we do once the rain stops?
When going into buildings that have been submerged, do not touch electrical facilities and make sure to ventilate, as there is a risk of gas leakage.
We should also reduce preventable damages and prepare for disasters ahead of time by following safety guidelines.
That is correct. You can receive real-time safety information through the Disaster Safety Information mobile app, 안전 디딤돌.
Thank you for all the great information. Remember, your safety is everyone's safety. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
A higher number of international students are headed to Korea for higher education. So when I say higher education, I'm talking about mostly college or universities. Whether it's for undergraduate programs or graduate studies, Korea is definitely on the radar for many students abroad who are considering coming here to study. If we look back in August 2023, the Education Ministry launched its Study Korea 300K initiative. The goal is to attract 300,000 international students by the year 2027. This strategy was formed to combat the domestic college-age population shrinking. And with the relatively lower tuition rates when compared to other countries such as the U.S., this policy seems to be working. However, I do want to ask, what about the local students during admission season right now this year? How are they doing? I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, October 17th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well on this Friday morning. We made it, the first full week back from our really, really long holiday. All right, so that clock, the clock is ticking toward the CSAT or 수능 coming up in November. This is like the last push. But for early admissions, we call it sushi here in Korea, the applications are all done. They're in. And the figures show an interesting pattern. So in the opening, I talked about international students whom we, of course, welcome to Korea. But for students in Busan, their applications to capital area universities fell to the lowest level in the past 5 years at just under 25%. Just looking at the so-called in-Seoul universities, only 14.8% of Busan area students applied to any of these schools. And that is down by 3.5 points from last year. Instead, these students, they've applied to schools near their home, especially in the same region as their high schools. For Bulgyong students, 45.2% of them applied to schools in the greater Gyeongnam sphere, and this was also true nationwide with over half of the Chungcheong area students applying to schools within their home regions. So what might be behind this new drive away from the so-called in-Seoul universities? Well, those in the admissions industry say that uncertainties in the college admission system from the medical school quota going back and forth, as well as a heavier focus on social studies in the CSAT may be behind this, or at least part of the reason why. So rather than taking a risk, students and parents, they are seeking stability. Also, the government's projects on fostering and boosting regional universities have been effective. That's according to those on the scene. We've talked about these local university programs here on our program too, right? And others have raised the profile and reputation of regional universities, with participating universities reporting a notable increase in the number of early admissions applications. So while going to an in-Seoul school was considered the end-all, be-all kind of thing in the past, this seems to no longer be the case. In South Korea, many of the country's issues really does come down to regional balance. We talk about it frequently on our show. And universities are definitely a major part of this equation as well. So that is the tenor of our show. But for now, we're going to turn to our text topic. Are you ready? Here we go. What is the most quintessential food? Well, not just any food. Busan food for you, in your opinion. What is your favorite Busan food? What is so Busan about that food? Because there might be different variations of the food you're talking about, but something makes it so quintessential Busan. That's what we're looking for. Send in your opinions, your thoughts to BEFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM to find our channel. You can subscribe and then log in, chat with our other waivers. From your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing there, find our account, type in BEFM or 부산 영어 방송, and then after you add us as a friend, you can send in your messages and photos for free. The ways you can tune into our program these days, if you're in Busan, you love their radio, 90.5 or 103.3 FM, depending on where you are. Like I said, we're streaming live on YouTube right now. You can watch again at your leisure. Also, we have our program available on the BEFM app and also the Patbang app. Both are free and easy to download. It's Friday, so let's take a look at our very special day. For hour number 1, we have Foreign Press Highlights. That's with Casey. And then in hour number 2, it's the final episode of Talk Busan. Today, we're focusing on Busan, gourmet and coffee city. We are indeed. And so we're going to be talking to experts and panelists who are in the know for all of this. So that's coming up. Once again, in hour number 2, I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06 and this is News Overview. 59 South Koreans to be deported from Cambodia. The Cambodian police will deport 59 South Korean nationals implicated in crimes on Friday local time with cooperation from the South Korean embassy. Seoul, Washington hold talks over shipbuilding. Top Korean officials held constructive talks with the White House over bilateral shipbuilding cooperation as part of the $350 billion investment commitment. President Lee Jae-myung vows to ease regulation for economic revitalization. The government will drastically reduce regulations over bioenergy and culture industries to draw out real growth in the global market, said President Lee Jae-myung yesterday. President Trump expected to visit South Korea October 29th to 30th. U.S. President Donald Trump may visit South Korea for the Gyeongju APEC summit from October 29th to 30th, with a Korea-U.S. summit likely to take place during this period. Trump says he will meet Putin in Hungary. President Donald Trump said that he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Hungary to discuss ending the war in Ukraine following what he called a very productive phone call. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan, Friday edition. We have Sejin in the studio. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Hi.
It's Friday.
I couldn't be happier.
All of us, we're all feeling it already.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to ask you about the most quintessential Busan food, or something that, there might be different versions of it, but this makes it very, Busan-esque. So what might that be?
Quintessential Busan food would be 돼지국밥.
Oh.
So pork broth, is that how you say it?
You can pork, broth soup.
Broth
Yes,
soup?
yes. Uh-huh.
And it's because my friends from Seoul, that the food is the one thing that find the most and sought after from the Seoul friends.
Yes.
And so they have 순대국밥 in Seoul, but we have a 돼지국밥.
Yes.
And I was surprised when my friend from Seoul put a black pepper in the soup. And I was like, why would you do that? And it's how we eat it in Seoul. So that's
Hutu, like
hutu.
pepper?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're not supposed to put pepper? I put pepper.
I put a bunch of 전구지.
What is
부추?
전구지? 부추, chives. Oh, of course, I put chives. But you don't sprinkle the pepper.
No. No,
You know what is something, I don't know if this is true. So listeners out there, correct me if I'm wrong. 제가 틀리면 얘기해 주세요. But I heard like in Seoul, for example, 순대, like in Busan, like many people use 쌈장 to dip in the sundae, 막장, and things like that. But I heard that in Seoul, it's like they dip it in salt instead as seasoning. I don't know if it's true, but okay. PD님 틀렸다고 아니면 아니라는 거예요. Like you disagree. 별로라고. I was like, she was like shaking her head. I'm like, am I giving out wrong information? That's what I heard. That's what my dad said. He's like 서울 토박이. So I was like, okay, Dad, go for the salt. We'll use the 막장. So
Are you an authentic Busan person?
I don't know. Like when I do get my sundae, I dip it in both, not at the same time.
Okay.
But of course, I use the 새우젓 if it's there, and then the 막장, I'll dip it there, and then the third option, if the salt is available, I'll dip it there too, but not at the same time. Like for each piece, a little different. Anyhow, now that we're so hungry, we got to talk about some local news. All right, first up. Let's talk about airports. Kimhae International Airport is racing toward a milestone. So I heard that this is 10 million passengers maybe for this year?
It might just be.
Okay.
Kimhae Airport international passenger count has topped 7.5 million in the first 3 quarters of this year. And the big question is, could it hit 8 figures? Well, all eyes are on whether Kimhae could become the first local airport to reach 10 million.
Wow. So let's hope that we can break that record. Well, what area is topping the route chart right now?
Taiwan has just overtaken Japan as the top route,
Oh.
accounting for 11.2% of all passengers.
Okay.
Fukuoka and Osaka following second and third place. On this trajectory, there are some speculations that Kimhae Airport might actually break the 10 million mark by the end of the year.
Yes.
Something no local airport except Incheon International has ever achieved.
Well, what is pushing the surge right now?
Several factors. Visa-free policy for Chinese tour groups of 3 or more,
Yes.
which began last month, is likely boosting inbound travel. Then there are new flight. Low-cost carriers will start new Busan-Japan route from October 26. So outbound trips to Japan will likely rise. And let's not forget the long-haul services that resumed this year. They're also pushing up the overall numbers.
Oh, so once again, we might get to that milestone. We'll keep a tab on that. All right, next up, a quick city update. Busan is doubling down on tidier, cleaner streets. What's changing?
Busan City is expanding this whole banner-free clean street idea.
Yes.
What that means is that in a bunch of major spots like 광안리 해변로, 해운대 and the Songjeong beaches, and a big intersections like Naesong and Yeonsan, and in front of Busan Station on 중앙대로, any kind of banners, postings, and even from public institutions are going to be taken down right away.
Yes. So how will they keep it clean? Are they going to have more people patrolling the streets?
They will have regular patrols checking the streets. And if they see anything that's damaged or put up illegally, they will just take it down on the spot.
Okay.
They've also asked all the political parties in advance not to hang campaign banners in these clean street zones.
Yes.
The district that do really good job keeping everything tidy will get some incentives like electronic banner boards or a bit of extra priority for city project.
I see. So I guess, they're really trying to make sure that this policy sticks. All right. Next, quick public safety heads up here in Busan. So I hear that the city is targeting this kimjang season that is coming up, kimchi making season, right?
Yes. Busan City will be checking kimchi makers and sellers of key ingredients such as red pepper powder, sea salt, and fermented seafood, especially places with history of violations or poor hygiene or those suspected of mislabeling product origins.
Yes.
And it's running from October 20th until November 21st.
So what are the main offenses they'll be on the watch for?
Things like false or misleading origin labels, breaches of food handling standards, selling unlabeled products or items past their expiry date. If they find violations, they will press criminal charges or notify relevant agencies for strict action.
Yeah, so what kind of penalties are we talking about?
For origin mislabeling, offenders face up to 7 years in prison or fines of up to 100 million won. Violating food handling standards can mean up to 5 years in jail or a 50 million won fine.
Yes.
And the city's special judicial police are taking public tip-offs. If our listeners spot something dodgy, call the food investigation team on 051 888 3091 or 3096.
I see. So that is, those two numbers are the hotline for if you want to report something, if something is a little suspicious. So I hope that we don't have to, but if we have to,
yes,
we must, right? It's about food safety. All right, next up, something fancy, something dazzling on the water this week in Busan. So what's going on?
Saha district in Busan announced that this year's 낙화놀이, which is falling fireworks show, will light up 장림port's waterways on the 18th at 8 p.m. It's part of the Bunechia art-free market, which is now in its third year. The market in itself will run for 2 days from the 18th around 장림port area.
Right. So this whole 낙화놀이, I believe maybe borrowed from elsewhere. Where does it come from?
낙화놀이 that got really popular in Haman, Gyeongnam as a K fireworks show. They first brought it to Busan last year to celebrate the opening of the 장림port pedestrian bridge. This year it's coming back even bigger.
Okay, so can you remind us why they're calling it 부네치아?
Apparently, 장림port, as you can imagine, is kind of like the Venice of Busan. Used to be a really trendy spot because of its exotic scenery.
I see.
But lately, it's been struggling a bit since visitors drop off due to poor transport and not much infrastructure around. To bring some life back to this area, Saha District's been hosting Bunechia Art Free Market since 2023, along with other local festivals to boost tourism and culture.
I see. Well, go check it out if you can. Thank you for all the local stories, and we'll check in with you on Monday. So thank you, Sajin.
See you on Monday.
All right. Let's get to our traffic and weather for Friday morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for your traffic report. First up, let's talk about the Dongso overpass. It is congested going away from the city right around the Pomnekgo ramp. It's backed up from Mandok intersection to Namhae Expressway to right now the Gupo Dakdonggang Bridge. And there's traffic on Luno Samsungdaero from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge. Let's talk about some road closures because of the National Sports Festival. From the Asiad Stadium intersection to Haeundae, the top portion of Gwangan Bridge to Yeonsan and Seomyeon. That's Sunday morning from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. As for the weather, it's currently 20 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies. With a daytime high, it is forecast to go up to 24. Nationwide, rain will hit much of the country starting tonight. Looking at the weather for the weekend, you can expect some rain tomorrow morning in Busan with a daytime high of 22, slightly cooler on Sunday. We're looking at a low of 17 and a high of 21 under cloudy skies. And this was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing well.
It's Friday.
Yay. Oh my God, finally.
Yes.
It's been a long week.
It has. We've been looking forward to the weekend. So what is the most quintessential Busan food for you?
All right, we get the 돼지국밥, and then we get the 물떡, which is great. But I mean, Koreanized Chinese food, 중국 음식, you go to Busan and you order like fried rice, and they'll always give you jjajang sauce, the black bean sauce on top of it. So you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. You get your fried rice, but you also get your jjajangbap. You go to other areas and it's just fried rice. And I'm like,
how dare you? I'm just kidding.
Where's my jjajang sauce?
Yes, where's the little side?
And then sometimes I think they'll put like fried eggs. So definitely different areas have different Koreanized Chinese food. But yeah, I like that Busan gives you the sauce.
The sauce. It's so necessary. I like. Well, we're going to get into top stories. Let's get some updates about the South Korean government team in Cambodia.
Right. So the South Korean government team, they met with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, whom they asked for the Cambodian authorities' proactive measures and cooperation, including in the ongoing investigation of the death of a South Korean college student, as well as his cremation and the returns of his remains. For the Prime Minister's side, he expressed concerns about Seoul having raised a travel warning to a ban in some parts of the country, and asked for a prompt lowering of such warnings. Also expressed concerns about the negative press that's going on about Cambodia in South Korean media. All in all, the two sides agreed to continue ways to cooperate for a joint Korea-Cambodia scam countermeasures task force.
Yes. So the Cambodian authorities announced the results of their 3-month joint crackdown on online scams.
Right. So although we've been focusing on mostly the very much Korean side of it, this is actually a huge problem ongoing in Cambodia. The Cambodian authorities announced that they've arrested 3,455 people across 20 countries from the crackdown that went from July 27th to October 14th. 75 people, including 5 women, have been sent to trial. So they've been pressed charges on for being main suspects or helping them. 2,825 foreign nationals have already been deported.
Yes.
And their alleged crimes range from scams to murder and human trafficking. So the South Korean government confirmed the names of some 20 individuals who are said to be ringleaders of these voice phishing scams. And the respective South Korean government agencies will bring their international networks to quickly extradite these individuals.
Yes.
And of course, you've reported on the deportations. The task force will also participate with cooperation from the Cambodian authorities in these local crackdowns in key criminal complexes.
Yes, indeed. And let's talk about the job scam post, because that's how these crime rings are luring people in. But as we have covered on the program a couple days back, these posts are still very much out there, and the authorities are not seemingly, really stopping these, not at least proactively.
Right, not doing so, or at least not able to. So there's this particular online community where there are multiple job scam-like suspected job scam posts. Well, they're still very much online and active. So when you go onto this particular community, the first page posts, the top posts include things like, I'll buy your bank account. We're looking for telemarketers in Vietnam. And most of them are, or they seem to be, criminal enterprises because they're offering suspiciously high salaries, and that corroborate the stories of those who have either gone to Cambodia or maybe still stuck there.
Okay.
However, the authorities, while they are aware of these posts and illegal trades, just have had a tendency to let them be. So the entity that's in charge is the Korea Communication Standards Commission, the KCSC. They've taken minimal action so far, requesting that only some of the posts be blocked, including those offering or asking for people to sell IDs for portal sites. So we're talking about 100 to 200 tops out of the 18,000 posts identified on this community. So there's a reason. Under current law, the KCSC can block posts that are directly aimed at committing crimes or aiding and abetting in these crimes. So in Korean, that would be 직접 범죄 목적이나 교사 혹은 방조. But if the main purpose of the site is to share such content, such criminal contents, then you can block the entirety of the site. However, the commission for this particular online community, they didn't deem it as a criminal site overall.
Yes.
So others say also to a more fundamental cause, perhaps, because the committee has been delayed in its membership formation. It's been in this lame duck state since last June. After it was reformed to its new iteration right now, it hasn't started its activities either. So there might be a policy gap. By the way, this particular online cafe announced this Wednesday afternoon that it will ban overseas job recruitment. So things are happening more on the specific site-to-site level. And of course, President Lee Jae-myung yesterday called for a way to promptly delete such contents.
I see. Well, let's take a step back and then look at the full scope of what's going on. Yesterday, we talked about how the lack of jobs in South Korea may have been a motivator for some young people seeking jobs. And, let's face it, some of the ads seem very suspicious, right? But why is there such a demand for scam rings in Cambodia?
Right. So yesterday we talked about the South Korean aspect of this. Let's go to Cambodia. Why is there such a huge supply or demand of these criminal enterprises? So this is according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Foreign direct investments have fueled this wide range of scam rings, illegal casinos, human trafficking centers in the Sihanoukville area. Not only that, but also in parts of Myanmar and the Philippines. So these areas are sometimes considered to be no man's land with weak government oversight, special economic zones, or they border the Mekong River bank, so they're kind of abandoned areas.
Yes.
Myanmar, for example, it's been in political turmoil since the military coup in 2021, so there's less government oversight there.
Yes.
And some allege that armed forces are acting as paid protection for these criminal rings. So now they're also evolving in a way that they are able to utilize AI and cryptocurrency to run their very extensive international scam sites.
Yes.
And then we throw in things like the local economic condition, huge wealth gaps that contribute to this, with the less fortunate entering these criminal organizations. And because during the pandemic, the casinos have shut down, they've got turned into kind of online casinos, but then depending on the country, those gambling activities are illegal.
I see.
So that does go into that gray area. Online outlets have pointed out that the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index put Cambodia on the third most corrupt country in all of Asia, following only North Korea and Afghanistan.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing all the details of what's going on, the different angles. We're going to move on, though. Let's go to the special counsel investigation over former First Lady Kim 건희.
Right. So the Minjung-gi Special Counsel that's been digging into plans for the expressway connecting Seoul and Yangpyeong, and the allegations that where the expressway ends in Yangpyeong, the destination was relocated to an area where the former First Lady's family owns property, and that the Presidential Transition Office had allegedly exerted pressure to make these changes. Of course, when a major highway drops off onto your neighborhood, usually property value surges. So that's the backside to this. Yesterday, the special counsel, they have statements that an official who is under detention now, he allegedly physically pointed on a map to the Gangsangmyeon area where the former First Lady's family owns property and told the company that was doing the research for the highway planning to consider changing the ending destination to here. The special counsel yesterday notified the press that they've raided the homes and offices of the former and current land ministry officials. This official worked for the Yoon Presidential Transition Committee, which is where the connections are being made.
I see. Well, we're going to shift gears now and talk about traffic accidents, especially secondary accidents on highways.
Right. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about secondary accidents? 2차 사고. So a the main accident is, for example, when you rear end the car in front of you,
Yes.
or your car stops in the middle of the road, it breaks down. However, there are times when cars driving behind you can crash into the car. Those would be the secondary accidents.
Yes.
So the number of overall accidents on expressways, good news, they have decreased in the last 5 years. According to Korea Expressway Corporation, 1,834 accidents were reported back in 2020, but last year that went down by 14% to 1,573 last year.
Right.
However, when we're zoning in on to the secondary accidents, that's actually increased by 40% from 51 to 70. And the thing about these secondary accidents is you need to consider the circumstances. Usually the cars, it's an expressway, they're going at full speed, 80, 100 kilometers per hour, if not more. Because there was already an accident, people might be outside the vehicle checking at the damage.
Yes.
Therefore, the fatality rate is quite high, 44.3%. So that means in the secondary accidents, 44% of the people died. That is 4.4 times higher than the average expressway fatality rate.
So what were some of the major causes of these accidents?
Failure to pay attention, right? 주시태만, dozing off at the wheel, 졸음운전, most of them having to do with how cognizant or not cognizant the driver was of his or her circumstances.
Okay.
66% also happened late at night, so visibility, an issue here as well. The Expressway Corporation, they have this pilot program. They've installed this prevention system where the driver in an accident or broken down car can press this button on the side of the highway and it'll actually light up these red lights that were embedded onto the ground, which is a great idea.
Yes.
But so far, because it's a pilot program, it's only in 0.01% of the country's expressways. In any case, if your car breaks down or if you have an accident, the acronym the Expressway Corporation tells you is 비트박스. So P, 비상등, so first turn on your hazards. T, 트렁크 열기, so open your trunks. Because the thing about highways is in Korea we use our hazards for lots of communications.
Yes.
So we don't know just from the hazards alone. So pop your trunk, 밖으로 나와서 exit the car. Get
away
off to the shoulder, and smartphone, use your smartphone to call 119.
I like that. Beatbox. So now I have a clearer picture of what to do. Well, thank you for sharing very much that last part in particular. For our final story, we're going to talk about President Donald Trump, who says he's authorized a CIA operation against Venezuela.
Which, wow, what a thing to admit, right? So President Donald Trump said at the White House on Wednesday that he has authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela and that it was considering striking drug cartels there.
Yes.
So, of course, the U.S. has been kind of at war, conducting military operations against Venezuela and the drug cartels for some time. At least 5 strikes on boats suspected of carrying drugs, killing 27 people thus far. Although some, it's been unconfirmed whether they were actually drug cartel boats.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. These have been heavily criticized, not only in Venezuela, but also by the United Nations human rights experts, because these would be extrajudicial executions, simply put, killing citizens of a country that is not your own.
Yes. But sending the CIA to Venezuelan soil, it's a whole different level.
Because the boats are in water.
Yes.
So it's international waters, but CIA infiltration onto another country's soil, well, that is CIA infiltration. But Trump said that the U.S. is looking at land as it's considering further strikes. And the New York Times reported that the Trump authorization would allow the CIA to carry out operations in Venezuela unilaterally or as part of any wider U.S. military activities. We, of course, CIA operations are covert. We don't know the details.
Yes.
So that's why it's extremely rare for any president to comment on even the existence of a spy agency or the activities of a spy agency. But President Trump cited 2 reasons for this potential operations. Venezuela has, quote unquote, emptied its prisons onto the U.S. And then 2, drugs Also, that's a little murky because Venezuela is not a huge drug player in the region. There are other countries that are far more prominent. So experts have therefore pointed to potentially a regime change. President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, whom many have deemed to have won the presidency through illegitimate elections.
Yes.
And interestingly, final tie, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado, she's an opposition leader in Venezuela, and she pointedly thanked and asked President Trump and the American people for the country's democracy.
Yes. So thank you for going over all the stories. And of course, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. So thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, it's time for our first song break for this Friday morning. A perfect song for today, 가을 타나봐 by Vibe.
계절은 두고 돌아오는데 사랑은 두고 떠나버리고 추억을 돌고 돌아 멈춰서 있는 다시 그 계절이 왔나봐. 나 가을 타나봐. 네가 그리워진 이 밤만 혼자 널 기다리나봐. 나 가을 타나봐. 네가 불어오는 이 밤만 혼자서 가을 타나봐. Baby, you're lonely, 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 lonely. 추억은 falling, 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 falling. 아무리 멀리 멀리 떠나보내도 돌아오는 난 가을 타나봐. 내 곁을 스쳐가는 많은 사람들 뭐래도 채워지지 않는 시간들 아무리 잊어봐도 짙어져가는 외로운 계절이 왔나봐. 나 가을 타나봐. 네가 그리워진 이 밤만 혼자 널 기다리나봐. 나 가을 타나봐. 네가 불어오는 이 밤만 혼자서 가을 타나봐. Baby, you're lonely, 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 lonely. 추억은 falling, 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 falling. 아무리
It's time for Casey and Foreign Press highlights, and he is racking his brain right now to come up with a quintessential Busan food. So aside from the kukbap that you mentioned off air, we already...
Yeah, you revoked my kukbap privileges. Did I
Can
say
I give you
goop-bop? What did I say? Goop.
Can I give you some choices and you can maybe choose one of your favorites?
Oh, I just thought of one.
Oh, you did?
I'm curious if this is one of your choices that you're going to offer me. It's a noodles soup that's cold. Is that on there? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 밀면.
Is that one of the choices?
That was gonna be one of the choices. Other choices I was gonna throw out there. Busan 어묵, really famous.
Oh yeah, right.
And they can send the 택배 all over. They can transport and deliver fresh Busan 어묵 all across the country. All the famous eateries that make their own fish cake.
You know what? I know that's like
a thing, but it's not for you. What about 동네 파전? That is so
is
Busan.
That for real?
It's called 동네.
Because of
동네.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
동네 area, right?
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Busan. Oh, okay. Which technically, what's that kind of pajeon?
Lots of like 해물, no? Like
it's
like
해물?
seafood.
Okay, that's like one of my go-to foods. So if my gookbap privileges have been revoked, I guess I'd probably go with 동네 pajeon.
동네
But
pajeon.
I never call it that. I just say 해물 pajeon.
해물 파전.
Yeah.
But 동네 파전 is like the way we call it because
it's the right way to call it.
yes. So
right. Which of those is your favorite out of the four?
Of the ones that we mentioned? I don't know.
It's hard to say.
힘들어요. They're also
맞죠?
delicious. And like there's special ways to enjoy. We were talking about like the 돼지국밥. Like here in Busan, they give you the green chives.
Yeah.
But elsewhere they don't. And so people are kind
they
of
don't?
like, yeah, that's
I would be so bummed out.
exactly. I love
Like, hey,
adding that.
you're missing something, guys. Hey,
Where's
come
the
back.
green stuff?
Yes, give me the green.
Yes. Well, we're going to jump into our first story for Foreign Press Highlights. What's it about? Where's it from?
Well, this is not about food, unfortunately. We're gonna take a turn. This is more about technology. And as I was reading this article from Rest of World,
yes,
which is an international publication specifically trying to cover like non-Western narratives. I just imagine this scenario. Departments like to kind of throw curveballs at you at the beginning of the semester from my personal experience. No?
Yes.
So just imagine like your department comes to you, the semester's getting ready to start, and they're like, hey, you know what we're doing this semester? AI textbooks. What would you?
Oh, I am so analog. I'm an analog kind of girl.
Okay,
I believe in opening your book.
Yep.
And I know lots of professors these days, they all, have the beam on and the projection on.
I rely on that a lot.
Yeah. I do too as well, but I actually have my textbook in an online form, and then that I'll put through because I want kids to pay attention. So I know kids these days, they are very motivated visually.
Sure.
And digitally. So that I get. On the other hand, I so believe in books.
I mean, and this is kind of related too.
Yes.
I was thinking about my own children and what I want for them, and we do heavily encourage actually physical books in our house. So we try to limit screen time, and this is a big part of the reason that the headline is AI-powered textbooks fail to make the grade in South Korea. So
I was against it when they first
So you're familiar?
About it.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
This was news to me.
Because the thing is this, I using AI in conjunction, in addition to, in little bits, maybe, okay. But you and I are like old school. We want to limit the screen time for our kids and devices. We really try, and it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge, right?
And this was one part of the problem that parents and teachers alike were not really thrilled about it. So when the government did announce the program, I think they said roughly like 2 years ago, the idea was, this would be more personalized learning for students because students are at all levels of whatever subject you're in. It would also help prevent dropouts, which I'm curious what the thinking there was. And they also said, now this is the one that speaks to me.
Okay.
It was aimed to reduce the workload of teachers, which I was like, oh, yes. Anything. Then I was like, oh, well, maybe now.
Maybe. Good idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But so the program basically took shape, as they say in the article, over the last year and a half. They say there were about a dozen publishers that were involved in developing actual digital textbooks. I'm curious what they look like. Did you ever see one?
No.
Yeah, they didn't really show what they look like in the article. They just showed students looking forlorn. But basically the idea was the end result was not good.
Okay. What were some of the issues?
So they talked to one particular student from Jeju, a high school student named Ko Ho-dam. He said all our classes were delayed because of technical problems with the textbooks. I was like, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
He said, also, I didn't even know how to use them. I could see that happening. And he said, working individually on his laptop, he found it hard to stay focused and keep track, as you mentioned, students have difficulty with. And he said the textbooks did not provide lessons tailored to his level, which I thought was kind of the whole point.
That's what we were told.
Right.
Like they're going to custom fit it for you. They're going to tailor it to each student's level.
Right.
But if it's not even doing that,
then what's the point?
So was he alone in his opinion, or were those, who agreed?
There were a lot of people who agreed with him. They say across the country, students like Ko, as well as teachers and parents, complained that the books not only had factual inaccuracies, a common problem with AI.
Yes.
It posed data privacy risks, which I could see that happening.
Yes.
It also, as we were just discussing, increased the screen time for children. And it also resulted in a heavier workload for both teachers and students. So I can see both groups being like, oh no.
Right.
So they said after just one semester, 4 months of trying this out, the AI textbooks were stripped of their official status as textbooks. Now they're classified as quote-unquote supplementary material. That means each school can decide whether to use them or not. In your situation, do you think your school would be like, yeah, we're going to stick with that?
I mean, for my youngest who's in high school, even when they gave the students they gave all the students tablets, all of them.
And actually every student.
Every student got a tablet. It's to rent or borrow for while they're going to school. But I was kind of like, they all have their own anyway, most of them, right?
Do they?
Yeah, most of them all have
Prepare for the future.
Their little tablets. Yeah, they already have their own, but then but I was thinking, well, I understand why, because for the few students that don't have tablets, they want to make it an equal playing field.
Yeah, right.
Because they have so many group projects these days.
Right.
So that I understand.
Right.
I don't know about the whole AI textbook unless they can assure us, number one, the information is going to be accurate.
Yep.
And it's really going to help somehow certain students. I don't know. I'm still on the fence.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea. I think basically the main criticism what happened was it was a rush job. They just tried to do too much too soon. So they talked to a doctoral candidate at Cambridge, Lee Bohm, who's actually, he used to be a policy advisor to the Seoul Education Office.
Okay.
And they said they should have just kind of piloted it in maybe homework settings or just practice, and then carefully introduce it in class.
Yes.
Because, it was just pushed too far too quickly.
So hopefully, I don't know, if they had maybe gone that route, we might have had a different result.
Yep.
But
and
that's
they
not,
spent a lot of money on it too.
I know. That's
it was
our
a lot of money.
Payers' money.
Yep. And that's why a lot of parents were probably upset about it for another reason. But they also felt they weren't consulted on what the parents or the teachers wanted. So there was a lot of pushback from parents groups.
And teachers.
One called Political Mamas, by the way, which is my favorite. Political Mamas is the English version of their name. So I'm curious what that is in Korean.
Yes.
But yeah, they did raise some issues right at the very beginning of the idea being introduced.
All right. So is there anything else? I mean, I do want to talk about the flip side.
Yeah.
So were there any teachers or parents who were not opposed to the textbooks? Maybe they supported this.
Yes. They actually mentioned an elementary school teacher in Gwangmyeong near Seoul, Kim Cha-myung, who says the textbooks were actually convenient.
Okay.
He said they helped save time and supported struggling students. So he had the opposite experience. He did say the students actually also liked the digital features, like they can earn hearts as prizes. So you don't have to keep that sticker board.
I know, but I love that sticker board.
Do you? I can't.
I love it.
It blows my brain up trying to stay organized. But they also have avatars that they could customize. And they're when they're working on stuff, it's more of a game-like format instead of open your book to page 64. So but he also says, the program failed because everything was rushed. It should have been rolled out gradually after testing its effectiveness. So I don't know. Do you think they'll make another shot at this or give it another try?
I have a feeling because, nowadays, there's nothing without AI.
Right.
So I feel like we've delayed it a little bit. And maybe the next time, if and when they roll it out, they'll do it in phases.
Right.
After a lot of testing and consulting with educators, teachers, not politicians, teachers, and parents. Yeah, we want everyone's input.
That's right.
So let's move on to our next story.
Not related whatsoever.
Okay.
We're going to talk about cosmetics. This is certainly not my wheelhouse.
Are you sure?
No.
You're not wearing eyeliner today?
No foundation.
All natural?
No. This is.
You look so lovely.
Yeah, I saw. Ooh. Well, what can you do?
Yes.
But okay, so the first story was basically like the failure of AI textbooks here was because it was rushed. And that turns out that is the opposite experience in the cosmetic world. This is from the LA Times.
Ooh.
And it's the secrets behind the South Korean cosmetics boom, K-pop, Kardashians, and churn. Do you know what churn means?
Churn? What
Okay,
is
cool.
churn?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, that made me feel
We're
better.
the same generation. What is churn?
I guess it means just like turning out things so quickly in constant succession.
I thought there was like a new trendier meaning behind churn.
I think it is. I think it's like probably like social media term.
Okay.
Yeah, so keep churning things out, right?
Yes.
And this article basically points to the fact that because products come out so quickly, other countries are basically not able to compete with Korean cosmetics.
This article. I read another article yesterday, coincidentally, because I was looking up. I think Leon was talking about PDRN.
Sorry?
It's a type of like skincare. So I was looking that up, and then some articles were saying like K-beauty and experts, their expertise, they say it's like 10, 15 years ahead of other countries.
Yep. And
that's what they said.
And this article kind of goes a long way to explain why that is.
Okay.
So, like, there's, what did you call it?
PDRN?
Yeah. Yeah, they mentioned BB cream and ampules?
Ampule, yeah.
And how do you say it?
Ampule.
Okay. But they list off these things that have become trends here quickly first and then have taken off elsewhere. But the reason is they say there's an unlikely alliance of big manufacturers and then small entrepreneurs. And this is where this steady stream of new products is coming from. And, they get their stuff out as quickly as possible to skinfluencers.
Skinfluencers.
And this is like people who show up to these like big conventions and they're like, they got their selfie sticks ready and they're like getting these free samples. Look what we got. Boom. It gets out on social media quickly.
Yes.
And people want to keep up with it.
That's true.
So, the weird part is that big business and small business is working together.
That is an unlikely alliance.
There you go.
Because usually we think, the big players, they always take away from the pie of the little players, right?
Yeah. So they mentioned that last year, South Korea took over France's spot as the biggest exporter of cosmetics to the U.S.
Wow.
And
that's huge.
Is it?
That's huge
I know.
because all the big names from France, we talk about Châtaigne, Langdang, on and on and on. That's major.
And I guess one of the reasons for that is because they basically manufacture their own stuff.
Yes.
So they're very much committed to just their own brand and what they make. Whereas here the model is there's like a few manufacturers and they will produce products of any like range or any price or any like order number. They said there's a company here that they'll produce only like 3,000 items or 3,000 units of a certain product.
Wow.
And they kind of keep that as their working model so that they're always ready to put out something that's brand new. And that's why these people kind of have an advantage in social media because they just put out the newest product and other countries can't compete with it.
Right. And, Korea is already well known for like the quick turnover of trends.
Yep.
We are one of the trendiest, societies, I believe, in the world.
Yep.
Not just for K-beauty, for anything. It's like you're hot 1 minute and then there's something else the next minute, right? Whether it's for K-pop singers or K-beauty or different kinds of K-chicken, like a different flavor all the time, right?
Yeah. So that's basically the point of this article is like this Bali Bali system we got here works out in this
They're
case.
churning it out.
They're churning.
Right.
And, but that does mean it's really hard to like get yourself noticed because there's so much constant competition. They said just over last year, according to government data, 8,800 cosmetic brands just went out of business.
Wow.
So that if that many failed, right, in 1 year, like this is a constant churn as well.
And the title you said was, what was it? K-pop Kardashians and churn?
Yes.
And I don't want to give context. It's because recently Kim Kardashian, she came to Korea. It was pretty major news for anybody's out there, social media influencers, skinfluencers. And she went on a major publication recently and was raving about K-beauty.
Right.
And so that I'm just saying the context of why that name is in there. So,
right, because this is an American article, right?
Yes.
This is LA Times, of course. So Kardashians are synonymous with LA, no? No comment?
Okay. That area. They're like Calabasas. I don't know if that's LA, but anyhow.
I'll stay out of it.
We're going to call it a wrap for our segment today. But thank you for bringing us really interesting articles. And we'll be sure to check in with you next week. Thank you, Casey.
Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. It is time to wrap up hour number 1. So we have a song request from our Sejin. This is Yellow by Coldplay.
부산 영어방송.
랜드로버의 모든 것이 한 곳에 전시장과 서비스 센터가 만나 랜드로버 부산 센텀 컴플렉스 센터로 더 새로워졌습니다. 신차 상담에서 애프터 서비스까지 원스톱 서비스를 만나다. 랜드로버 공식 리테일러 HS 효성 프리미어 모터스.
한국전쟁 당시 우리를 먼저 도운 에티오피아 6천여 명의 군인들은 자신들의 월급을 모아 부모 잃은 아이들을 위해 고아원이라는 고아원도 세워주었습니다. 그러나 지금 에티오피아는 위기에 처해 있습니다. 끊이지 않는 내정과 기후재난으로 대부분의 의료시설은 파괴되었고 의약품도 부족해 간단히 치료할 수 있는 질병으로 사망에 이르는 상황입니다. 바로 지금이 우리가 에티오피아에 진 빚을 갚을 때입니다. 지금 전화해주세요. 후원 문의 080-982-0119 국제구조위원회.
기업체 사장님들 아직도 직영으로 식당 운영하고 계십니까? 위탁급식과 도시락 전문기업 더 좋은 푸드에 맡겨보십시오. 운영비 절감 효과 확실합니다. 식대는 협의 후 맞춰드립니다. 지역 부산 경남 051-784-0877 051-784-0877.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, Busan 영어 방송.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, Wavers. This is hour number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. We begin with Spotlight News. 59 South Koreans to be deported from Cambodia. The Cambodian police will deport 59 South Korean nationals implicated in crimes on Friday local time with cooperation from the South Korean embassy. A South Korean government response team met with the Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet the day before, who expressed deep regret over the torture and death of a South Korean college student and promised efforts to protect Koreans in Cambodia. In the meantime, President Lee Jae-myung ordered for tighter monitoring of suspicious online job offers that work as channels for the ongoing job scams. Seoul and Washington hold talks over shipbuilding. Top Korean officials held constructive talks with the White House over bilateral shipbuilding cooperation as a part of the $350 billion investment commitment. Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chol and Presidential Policy Chief of Staff Kim Yong-bum met with the White House Director of the Office of Management and Budget on Thursday local time and discussed the Make American Shipbuilding Great Again project in a move to expedite trade negotiations. Minister Koo also met with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent the day before and expressed hopes that the U.S. may withdraw its position for Seoul to give the $350 billion upfront. And in breaking news, coming in right now, Korean Trade Minister Kim Jong-kwan and U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick have begun trade negotiations again. President Lee Jae-myung vows to ease regulation for economic revitalization. The government will drastically reduce regulations over bio, energy, and culture industries to draw out real growth in the global market, said President Lee Jae-myung yesterday. The Office of Government Coordination explained that the country will expedite the approval process for new drugs, reduce regulations for solar panels in rural areas, and nearly remove regulations for public broadcasters. President Lee said the bureaucratic rigidity and officials' excessive authority could hinder policy and call for a more flexible approach toward strategic sectors. President Trump expected to visit South Korea October 29th to 30th. U.S. President Donald Trump may visit South Korea for the Gyeongju APEC summit from October 29th through 30th, with a Korea-U.S. summit likely to take place during this period. National Security Advisor Wi Sung-nak made the comments to the press yesterday, although he added it is premature to confirm the schedule as there are possibilities for changes. Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to visit Gyeongju on October 30th. Seoul is in talks with Washington and Beijing to host both leaders with a state visit. Trump says he will meet Putin in Hungary. President Donald Trump says he will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Hungary to discuss ending the war in Ukraine following what he called a very productive phone call. The Kremlin said the call came at Russia's request and was substantive. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead a new round of high-level talks starting next week, said Trump. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is due to visit Trump the next day and is likely to ask the U.S. to send long-range Tomahawk missiles. And this was Spotlight News. Welcome back, Haley, for our abbreviated version of wa글와글 today because we have Talk Busan coming up soon. But this story is a mega story because it's the biggest divorce in the country, as we know, between SK Chairman Choi Tae-won and a daughter of late President Do Tae-woo. Her name is Do So-young. And the Supreme Court made its verdict on the case.
Right. The divorce is so big that the Supreme Court has had to weigh on it.
Yes.
And it actually struck down an appeals court's ruling that ordered Choi Tae-won to pay his ex-wife Do So-young and in 1.3 trillion won in asset division, sending it back to the appeals court to be retried, again, ultimately with a struck-down verdict. So this was the key to the divorce, which not only has been the biggest settlement, a divorce settlement in the country's history, but it goes back to the country's darker political period. To the backdrop, again, Do So-young's side's argument was that her father, former president, late Do Tae-woo, who was a member of the authoritarian regime, although he himself was democratically elected, he passed on some 30 billion won to the corporation Seongyung, which is a predecessor to what is now SK.
Yes.
That was back in the early 1990s. And Do Tae-woo's wife, Ms. Kim Ok-suk, she has a handwritten memo in her writing basically proving that. So basically, the whole point was her father contributed to the corporation's funds.
Yes.
Therefore, this was also her contribution to the marriage. The appeals court accepted the assumption that this was, yes, a slush fund 비자금 from the former president, and this was key in getting that 1.3 trillion won in asset division.
And while the appeals court saw this, 30 billion won as an asset to basically be divided, the Supreme Court did not.
Right, so this is where we get the newest twist on the story from yesterday. So the Supreme Court sided with Choi's argument. So his side said that it wasn't that they didn't receive the money. That's just kind of there.
Yes.
But it seems to have been as a form of a bribe, illegal. So one should not put illegally gotten assets as something that's subject to asset division. So basically, it is fundamentally void. Which is an interesting legal argument because such money goes against social and moral values, and therefore it is outside the protection and the ruling of the law. It's in a no man's land area. This is a rather interesting admission of how his company and his father's company back then acquired such money. But in any case, because the Supreme Court rules on the legality, the court agreed. And although No Soo-young's side argued that it is still her contribution to the joint assets, legal or illegal. But again, if it is outside the realm of the law, it cannot be ruled upon. So that is the legalese. However, Choi does have to pay his wife alimony 위자료 of 2 billion won.
Okay, so of course, once again, the lower court is going to have to handle this, work this out.
So it's not done yet.
Yes, we will give you updates. Moving on, it is camping season, and like clockwork, we have instances of very odd camper behavior.
Odd, illegal, definitely inconsiderate. How about this? Pitching a tent at an EV charging station.
What?
전기차 충전소에서 캠핑하기. Right. So this is according to an online community post. The person who posted this, was at an EV charging station by Hajode Beach in Yangyang, huge camping site.
Right.
A woman had set up a tent in front of the charger. Her car was parked next to it. Actually, unclear if her car was an EV. And had her 2 dogs leash-free, just roaming. So a couple problems there. The person who posted this apparently told the woman, "You can't camp here." The camper actually yelled at her. She's like, who are you to tell? That whole thing. And then said, if you need to charge your car, there are other stations over there, go over there. And the person who posted it claims that a 4-year-old child was hurt by the dogs. We don't know the extent of the injuries. The police were called and guided her to camp elsewhere.
Yes.
So in terms of penalties, this is also an interesting point. The police actually don't have jurisdiction for blocking EV charging stations because it's not a crime per se. So that goes to the local government, which you have to lodge a complaint via the 국민신문고, the public the public app.
Yes.
However, this was when that app was down from the data center fire. Everything the chips fall into places. So that's that story. Now we're going to go to Gyeoje in Gyeongnam. Another camper, he or she drilled into the concrete of a public parking lot to peg down a tent. So they brought a drill to break through concrete and even the break wall, the little concrete walls as well. By the way, under the law that was revised last year, camping on a public parking lot can result in a 500,000 won non-criminal fine. So, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Let's be considerate.
Yes. So, I don't know. Have you thought about going camping this season?
I am a real indoorsy.
Indoorsy?
I'm really indoorsy. But I went to, because during the Chuseok break, my family were in Gangneung.
Yes.
And then where were we? Samcheok. It's great that I went and I don't remember. Samcheok area. I went down to the beach. There were just campers everywhere. And I love that because it's outdoors. The weather was really nice, especially when you have kids. Because even at a hotel, you have to worry about kids, the 층간소음. But there you can just run around.
I love seeing the families with the young kids.
Right.
But I'm so past that phase and I'm so happy.
And you know how both of us have
졸업했어요.
commented how we loved seeing people camping, but neither of us wants. My sister's family has gotten to camping, but she does also have a 10-year-old boy who's very active. She's invited me and I was like, can I just go for the barbecue? Because my brother-in-law is a great barbecuer. He's great.
He's a great griller. But
thank you. I'm a barbecuer.
But I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm like, can I just go there for the food and then maybe go back to your home and use your beds? Because your beds are nice. I don't know why you people go outside.
I don't either.
Nice beds.
Well, thank you for the very interesting 와글 segment. And of course, have a wonderful weekend, Haley.
Have a great weekend.
All right. Well, guess what is coming up next? We have our final segment for Talk Busan. Today's topic is gourmet and coffee city of Busan. I'm so excited, and we're going to be back with our panelists in just a little bit. However, we have a song request from Benny. It is so fitting for today. 커피를 마시고 by Urban Zacapa. So enjoy, and I'll be back with Talk Busan.
괜찮아 네가 없는 나도 괜찮아 가끔씩 생각나는 날도 괜찮아 사실은 아직도 실감이 안 나나 봐 이렇게 오늘처럼 비 오는 날은 우리 함께 즐겨 들었던 네 노래 한참을 멍하니 그렇게 웃고 있어 yeah. Baby baby 그대는 카라멜 마키아토 여전히 내 입가에 그대의 이 달콤해 Baby baby tonight Baby baby 그대는 카페라떼 향보다 포근했던 그 느낌 기억하고 있나요 Baby baby tonight
Oh baby 빛바랜 하늘색 커플티 조금씩 기억나지 않는 네 생일 여전히 내 맘은 이렇게 따뜻한데 yeah.
내게는 너무 또 따뜻하고 향기로운 너 더는 아름답지 못한 것이지 그저 추억인 거
돼지국밥, 물떡, 밀면, 명란, 회. Oh, I'm already hungry. Is your mouth watering as well? Well, I definitely have been hungry since like 7 a.m. because we've been talking about food leading up to our segment today. Be prepared to be hungry because today's Talk Busan topic is all about gourmet and coffee city, Busan. You know, Busan has always been a city of good eats, but being a gourmet and coffee city, that is the next step forward. It's about having affordable, accessible eateries, but also these kind of star-rated, high-profile restaurants as well for a mix of high and low, and then throw in beverages. In Busan lately, have you been to the huge cafes and enjoyed the coffee? Well, food improves the quality of our lives, but also this can attract travelers. visitors and raise our status in the global community even more. So for this final summit of Talk Busan, we are talking about, once again, gourmet and coffee city Busan. All right, so before we get started, I do need to let you know this program was created with funding from Busan Metropolitan City's Regional Broadcast Development Support Program. And now, without further ado, let's meet our panel of experts. So I'm going to introduce each one of them. First up, we have Chef Lee Jae-seok of Myeongnan Yeongguso. So let's give him a round of applause. He's in the white jacket. And then we have Professor... right next to him, he's on the screen, so I'm going to introduce him first. Professor Andrew Millard from Changwon National University.
Good morning.
You know Andrew. 안 교수님, as we call him, right? Professor Millard. And then to my left, we also have Professor Chung Pop-mo from Bukyong National University. Hello, welcome, Professor. Yes. So we are going to get started. And I do want to throw out a common question to all of you today. So first, what was your favorite Busan food experience? We're going to start with Professor Andrew Millard. What's been your favorite Busan food experience?
Okay. So I've had a few.
Okay.
Some are interesting. Some are good. But I guess since I've been in Korea, in Busan, I've tried all the unique foods, like the live octopus. I did have congealed cow's blood soup. I don't know. I can't remember the Korean name.
선지. Is it 선지?
Something like that, yeah. That one I did not like.
Me neither.
No, I didn't really know what it was. Someone just said, let's go and
that?
eat it. And then I couldn't eat any of it. But I do like mulhue.
Oh, mulhue.
Which in Korean, I think sounds quite nice, mulhue. But when you translate it into English, it's raw fish in water.
It just sounds so bad.
Doesn't sound quite as nice.
Right.
But yeah, so I do like mulhue. And for coffee, I'm very much a Korean. I like my mixed coffee.
Oh, mixed coffee 최고죠. I had a cup of it in the morning. Right. I have a question for you, though, while we're talking about favorite Busan food experiences. Like earlier on the program, we were talking about like even sundae, depending on where you go in Korea, you dip it in different like sauces, right? So in Busan, I believe it's like the makjang sauce.
Right.
And in Seoul, it's kind of like the salt. So what do you dip it in? Or do you not enjoy?
So I do not like sundae. So I don't.
Okay, we gotta ask Professor Miller to leave the studio. No, I'm totally kidding. Yes, you're not a fan of sundae.
If I had to choose, I'd choose salt.
Oh, the salt.
I'd go with the salt.
Okay, so you are not a true Busanite.
No,
okay,
I'm sorry.
We're gonna move on quickly.
미안합니다.
Let's go to Professor Chung 교수님. What's been your favorite Busan food experience?
Maybe like oju, because I never tasted in other place. So it's like a fish porridge, right? Porridge. I love, some fish. I don't know like what kind of fish was used for this porridge, but this was some first experience to eat like this. So
I've never heard of it.
I was not born in Busan, so this was also the very new experience for me.
I see.
So where were you born, Professor?
I was born in Jeonju. In Jeolla province.
Okay. Yes. I've never heard of this either. Juk, meaning fish porridge, right?
Yeah, porridge. Ojuk in Korean.
Yes. And now we have to turn to our chef. Chef, what about you? Your favorite Busan food experience?
For sure for me is 돼지국밥. It's soul food for me. While I was away from Busan. I'm a heavy drinker too. So
I love it. The TMI in the morning. Yes.
So yeah, every time after drinking, I missed soup. Then I think 국밥 it's my soul food.
It's your
from
soul
Busan,
food.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the puchu, the chives in?
Yes.
Because I heard in certain areas in Korea they don't give you the chives. Like in certain areas, like 그 부추를 안 준다고.
I think puchu is also Busan style.
Right. Oh, yes. Can't live without the puchu. I love the puchu in there as well. Well, now I have you on air with us right now, Lee Jae-seok 셰프님. As a regional chef, can you tell us a little bit more about Busan's food and the culinary history?
Yes. Okay. I'm just not sure about how to start with the culinary history.
Okay.
I'm just not that old enough to tell the histories. But
Quite young, yes.
But one thing I'm sure that Busan's food history should be strongly connected with history of Korea.
Yes.
So especially during the war period, the people came to Busan to escape or as a refugee.
That's right.
So they lived in very poor situation, conditions.
Sure.
Of course, they were lacking of food as well.
That's true.
So people at that time had to discover edible things because it was lacking food.
So people had to be kind of inventive, right?
Sure.
Yes.
So that's what I think. So they were starved.
Yes.
So I think that resulted in Korea. We have so many kind of seafoods and other dishes than any other cultures.
Right.
So, for example, 꼼장어 is well known for Busan food.
Yes.
But I guess it's not any other cultures are there even to try,
Oh, the eel, right?
Yeah. It's eel. So I was like trying to ask
Professor
Andrew.
Yes.
He's from UK, right?
Yes.
So how would that be to use 꼼장어 to your fish and chips in UK?
No way. No, you have to leave now.
Okay.
We have two exits. Yes, so 꼼장어.
You were just mentioning before about the food from back in the Korean War.
Yes.
Is 부대찌개, was that
부대찌개.
also created during the Korean War? Is that right?
Not only from the wartime, I think because of the U.S. military, they were served for Korea.
Right.
Yes.
So they had all the leftover things from the dining facility. Then the probably workers, they don't want to throw it away.
Right.
So they kept things that leftovers.
Right.
And they
just put it all together.
Yeah. I think that's how it became.
Yeah, so that's why the Ijeongbu near the U.S. military camp became popular.
So
yes.
we call it like military soup.
Right.
Yes. 부대찌개.
So,
like literally, yes.
So yeah. Then during the baby boom period, 1950s to 70s,
Yes.
we had to cook more portions. It's baby boom period. So
More mouths to feed. Yes.
to be able to feed the whole family members. So I think that resulted 국밥 culture. Because the 국밥 is, it enlarges the portion
Oh, absolutely.
and it's shortening time
Yes.
for preparing and eating. So and that also resulted how we have 빨리빨리 culture in Korea.
The bali culture mixed in with, as the chef is explaining to our listeners on Morning Wave in Busan right now, that, you have more mouths to feed, the baby boom era where, basically you got to stretch everything. So what's the perfect way if you have some sort of brothy or soupy food? You add more water.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? And make it stretch. Yes. Anything else that you want to add, or is it okay to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay,
yes.
okay. So I want to turn our attention to 정 교수님, shifting gears to beverages, because we heard about the food side from our chef, but shifting gears to drinks and beverages. How and why did Busan become a city of coffee? Because, we've talked about mixed coffee a little bit, but just coffee in general, and you have coffee right in front of you as well, 교수님, but give us a rundown of coffee.
Okay, I see. So maybe it is not safe to say that Busan is the only city of the coffee. Maybe,
Of course.
Maybe of course other cities like Incheon or
Yes.
Gangneung or Seoul will say they are the first restaurant to be served the coffee in Daebul Hotel in Incheon. Maybe and then Gangneung will say they attract the most number of people for the coffee festival, or maybe Seoul is the largest market for coffee. So
Yes.
but definitely the Busan had some story of the coffee.
Yes.
And then it has the first recorded the drinking the history in Busan. It's by some officers who work in the customs, the maritime customs office. He was trying to serve the guests from the foreign country. Maybe they are also the custom officers from other countries.
Sure.
So up to 1882, 1884, and that was the first time of the recording the drinking and the coffee.
Yes.
And then at the same time, the Busan became the capital during the war. So it became the cafe became the social place for the government officials and also the journalists or some artists.
Sure.
So it became some place for some socializing and sharing their information and knowledge. So there's that kind. Busan has a large the amount of the stories related to the coffee.
Yes, I love that particular story about the customs inspector with the coffee. But as you said, Professor, I think it is so correct what you said. I agree with you thoroughly about how it's not just about drinking coffee per se, but just like the socialization, the communication, and the conversations that have been had over many years here in Busan. Plus, of course, all over Korea. Coffee is well loved. So if I can turn to now, Professor Millard, food and drinks, so important. I'm sure you would agree with me on that point.
For sure.
Yes. So maybe you can give us some instances where food or coffee, tea or tea culture from the UK or even spices have maybe changed or even influenced, history thus far.
Oh, I think so. Definitely, if you look at food,
yes,
that goes back thousands of years.
Right.
So the Silk Road. So we're talking that the land route Silk Road. One of the main reasons that started was for the trade of spices. So from Asia all the way across to Europe.
Right.
So that's really had a huge influence on European history, and then later that developed into colonialism with the maritime Silk Road and so on. And so actually, for a lot of Europeans, spices became super important. So in the 1600s, nutmeg. I'm not sure what the Korean for nutmeg is. Is it nutmeg?
I'm not sure. We'll find out for you. Nutmeg in Korean,
but
yes.
Nutmeg was one of the most expensive, most valuable spices. So actually, the British and the Dutch, they went to war. So there were some certain islands called the Banda Islands.
In Indonesia.
In Indonesia. And they went to war over these islands.
Right.
And then later in I can't remember the year, 1860s, I think, there was the Treaty of Breda, in which basically the British sold Manhattan, so what is now New York, to the Dutch. So that became New Amsterdam for a time.
It was New Amsterdam before, right?
Yes.
So there's that. And then, of course, tea and coffee. So again, we're talking during the colonial period.
Sure.
With the British for tea especially.
Oh, yes.
Sort of the British, the Indians, and also the Chinese. There was this whole big sort of system.
Right.
And that led to the Opium Wars in China. So that really affected relations with China and then later Chinese history and so on. Potatoes, chocolate, they first came to Europe from South America. And again, potato is now really, for the British especially, the Irish, that's a standard food.
It's a staple, right?
Yeah. We can't live without our chips.
Fish and chips.
Not fries.
Fish and
chips.
No, it's fries.
and of course, sugarcane. This was also grown in South America and other areas too. And that was very important because that had big influences also on the slave trade.
Right.
So when the Europeans especially went over to what is now modern day northeastern Brazil and those areas, that's where a lot of the sugarcane was produced.
Right.
But they needed to, it's not really a nice way to say it, but import slaves from Africa to do all the physical work. So this boosted the slave trade as well. So everything was all connected.
Absolutely. I do have a question for you. Continuation of our tea conversation.
Sure.
Because, I have to ask, and I know
everyone else can leave now.
Yes. I know it's such a stereotype, but I got to ask, is there a proper way to sip tea?
To sip tea?
To drink tea.
To drink tea. To drink tea, not really. You shouldn't make a noise. So you shouldn't.
Don't
you
slurp.
shouldn't slurp it. Okay. But really, when it comes to making the tea,
right,
this is where there's a little bit of a debate. To be honest, right now in modern times, there's no real right or wrong way. However you like it.
Right.
That's okay. But in history, so if we go back maybe 200 years ago, the rich people had the very nice china, expensive cups, but they were quite thin. So the rich people had to put the milk in first, and then pour the tea in. Otherwise, the cups would
burst, basically.
Would break. They'd split. Whereas the working class who had the cheap, but the bigger, the thicker, the sturdy mugs, they were okay, so they could put the water in first and then add the milk in later.
Interesting.
So there's that sort of difference. And that was based on class.
Right.
How rich you were, how wealthy you were.
And also even like the teaspoon, like we use it as a measurement in cooking, right, chef? Like tablespoon, teaspoon. We still use that, the verbiage of tea, the teaspoon, the smaller spoon, how important it is. Is it still customary in the UK to have a proper tea time in the afternoon, or is that no, not anymore?
So again, if you're wealthy, if you have time,
if you live in Kensington,
to go with your
House.
friends and have tea and scones in the afternoon.
I see.
Yes, but generally, we have what's called 11s, which is in the morning. You start work at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Then about 11 o'clock, you need a little break time.
Yes.
So we call that 11s.
11s. Learning something new. Love it. Thank you for sharing. Going back to Chef E, you are the head chef at Myeongnan 연구소서. I need you to tell us the history of Myeongnan. For our non-Korean listeners, this is salted pollock roe, right?
Yes.
And the connection to Busan. Can you tell us?
Yeah, history again, yes.
Yes, history again.
Yeah, this one I studied, yes.
Okay.
So Myeongnan, which is the pollock roe. It's a traditional Korean food. Food passed down since Joseon Dynasty.
Sure.
With historical records. And it originated from Hamgyeongbukdo, especially area called Wonsan. It's northern part of North Korea.
Yes.
Where we have colder water. Because the pollock, they like cold water.
Yes.
So this was all the pollock cut was transferred to Busan. It's called Namsan warehouse.
Yes.
Namsan Chanko in Busan Donggu.
Yes.
So this Namsan warehouse in Choryangdong was found around 1900 as a city's first modern logistic warehouse.
Wow. Okay.
So it was known as it's called Myeongtae Gobang, which means if I translate, it's pollock warehouse. So due to its large capacity of storage.
Yes.
rooms.
Yes.
So
Okay.
then workers there sometimes received byproducts, including like fish, intestines, and so pollock roe, they receive it as a part of their wages. So they started making this jut, which is the salting.
Yes, the salting
ingredients. So Myeongnan jut, that's how it became Myeongnan jut in Busan. But before the northern part of Korea, like Hamgyeongbukdo, they had it already. So
right.
Did you just say that they were part of their wages was given in the pollock roe?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did they
really?
like that? I would be happy if the university said, from next month, Andrew, we're going to half your wages in Dwejigukbap.
I think, long ago,
Yes.
I think we exchanged things, right?
Right.
Not just
bartering
with the money.
and yes.
So
Okay.
I think, they received some
They were
wages
happy.
that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. All right, okay.
It was I guess accepted practice back then. Good question though.
So they started making Myeongnan jut, and there was during the Japanese colonial period, a Japanese man born in Busan. He tasted Myeongnan jut and brought it to Fukuoka.
Yes.
And made it into Japanese style. It's called mentaiko now. It's well known in Japan throughout like Japanese history
Right,
now.
right.
So people may think Japanese food but then it originally came from Korea.
Not to interrupt, but I want to get more from you
Yes.
about the salted pollock roe, and I later on I want to know why you went down that path. But I do want to also speak to and address Professor Millard. You know, when we report on politics and policy and state dinners, the menus are very much scrutinized. Everything seems very detailed.
Right.
It's very much a part of that state dinner. It's really important, right? How we welcome, state guests, etc. But, also the provenance, where the ingredients came from. So maybe you can also tell us about the role food plays in diplomacy. So maybe give us some examples as well.
Of course. So it's always important.
Yes.
Again, we're all human.
Yes.
Whether you're the president or the king or whatever.
Yes.
You're still a human. You need to eat.
Right.
So these state dinners, they are very important. Not just for building the relationships and so on. And so when they choose the menu, you're right. They choose these very carefully.
Yes.
They look at who is the leader coming, what types of food do they like, where are they from.
Right.
So, for example, if we go back a few months to when Lee Jae-myung went to Japan and met Ishiba.
Yes.
Who's no longer there now.
Yes.
In that dinner, they served a special curry, which Ishiba, Prime Minister Ishiba, liked. And they also served some beer from the Totori prefecture. But then on a separate dinner, they served andon jimdak, which is what Lee Jae-myung likes, and also soju from that area.
I see.
And then another dinner, they served eel.
So wow.
We seem to be coming back to eel a lot
Full
today,
circle.
which sort of connects both countries.
Yes.
So they do choose them, look at the leader, where they're from, what they like, and so on. But sometimes it can be more political.
Yes.
So when Donald Trump came to Korea in 2017, he was served shrimp, and the shrimp came from the Dokdo region.
Yes.
And then the Japanese got quite angry and they trying to say that, you're deliberately serving this to promote Dokdo as Korean territory.
Indeed.
But then, as we all know, Donald Trump, he likes his burgers.
Yep.
He likes more simple food. So when Macron, the French president, visited in 2018,
yes,
he was served cheeseburger, which usually for a state dinner, you'd serve something more than a cheeseburger.
Sure.
So that was maybe seen as a little bit disrespectful.
A little bit of a slight,
we know
yeah.
that Donald Trump and President Macron, even still this week, if you've seen the news,
yes.
There's been a bit more issues. They don't really have the best relationship. So potentially that was a little bit disrespectful.
Right. Going back to the whole eel angle, I'm curious as to what you thought, because when I first saw and experienced the 꼼장어 at, the 자갈치 market here in Busan, an acquaintance invited me, and I had never had it before ever. I was fresh from California, and I was like, "Oh, okay, let's go have it." And I was a little surprised at how they cooked it and the liveliness of the eels as it was being cooked. So I do want to ask, because obviously the professor to my left and also chef are ethnically Korean. Did you have an aversion to it, or you were okay with it?
So usually I'm a really picky eater.
Yes.
But I'll try most things. So like I said, I tried the congealed blood as well.
Yes.
But it wasn't the most appetizing look
to you?
To see bloody eel wriggling around a hot plate.
Right.
But then the worst time was when I went to Jagalchi Shijang, and I saw them taking out the live things from the tank, and then they put them on a board, and I think they stuck a nail through their head.
Right.
And then they prepare it then. That one kind of shocked me a little bit.
Yes,
I don't think in England that would be allowed.
It's a cultural issue, but I did want to ask you, because obviously you come from the UK.
Right.
And now we're going to turn our attention to 정 교수님. We know that imports coming into Busan, switching gears and talking about coffee again, the vast majority of coffee beans comes through Busan. That's what we've been told. First of all, if you can confirm if that is true. And what do you think this means for coffee and the city of Busan as we strive to become a real coffee city?
This is the one thing that the Busan is very proud of.
Okay.
They almost like 90% of the raw bean is imported to the port of Busan.
Yes.
I think that's true. But anyway, people in this coffee sector are like keeping saying that that is not enough factor to boom the coffee industry.
Sure.
Because they need other industry should go hand in hand with this import.
Yes.
Because most of other the roasting company is outside of Busan. So this bean should go to the other country, other city.
Yes.
To the roast. So the other industry like roasting should be together with the importing.
Yes.
And then the freshness is definitely important for the coffee. So I think this is a good advantage, but at the same time we need more other related the industry to support.
I see. Thank you for sharing.
I also heard that these days, especially Busan City, they're trying to import a lot of raw beans, roast them in Korea, and then export them back out through Busan.
Yes.
Okay, so I know that this is becoming a very
this
important
is maybe a new
industry
trial.
as well.
And then the coffee company like Momos, they're trying to make some factory in Yeongdo. So this is the whole package of the coffee producing. This is one good example, I think.
Yes. Thank you for answering that and asking as well, Professor. I'm going to turn our attention to Chef Lee. So going back to your the salted pollock roast story, and on a personal level, I'm very curious to find out why you chose to go down this specific path. What made you become interested in pollock roe? Was it by coincidence? Was it something that was very targeted on your behalf? Like, this is something I'm very interested in.
Oh, okay. I came back to Korea just because of my parents getting older, and so I came back.
Yes.
So I was looking what I have to do, what I would be doing in Busan. Then there's a chance that I visited this Myeongnan 연구소. It's got such a nice view, first of all.
Yes.
Then back to think to my parents. I always saw Myeongnan, and it's a soul food that my mom used to love. So it's kind of reminding me back that this is like reminding my childhood.
I see.
So that's how I just decided to work with Myeongnan.
Yes.
And I think that's also representing Busan's food. And not many people know about.
Yes.
So I also want to promote this is from Korea, this is from Busan. And before it was, let's say it's just a banchan, like a side dish.
Yes.
But nowadays in modern style dish,
right,
it goes very well with a lot of sauce, pasta.
Yes, pasta. So good.
So
gukbap?
I haven't tried.
I haven't tried that. A new one.
But we use, 새우젓, salted shrimp. So somehow it
maybe.
could match. There's samgyeopsal, grilled samgyeopsal together with Myeongnan. It's a new trend. So it could work.
Oh, well, if you make lots of money, just remember.
Professor Miller.
Even in bread, by 성심당 in Daejeon, they use the Myeongnan for the bread.
Yes. Myeongnan baguette by using the spread.
Yes.
Like Myeongnan spread.
Is it nice?
I think so.
To be honest, it doesn't sound the best.
I think, but the way you describe it, I haven't tried it yet. But we have even a bagel with sour cream with salmon. Why not the Myeongnan? That's similar, right? Right? Yes. So, Chef Lee, you have extensive experience working overseas and with international guests as well. So, in your studies, when we talk about you talk about new iterations of, let's say, the Myeonglak with pasta and things like that. from diners' perspective, like how do they kind of approach these new ways of enjoying the Pollock roe? Have you seen their reactions and do they enjoy it? For example, even just the pasta. To me, it's so delicious.
I think still it's part of more Asian culture that eating the egg.
Yes.
Like raw. Then I think nowadays I see it's a little bit of changing. Still like we have a lot of foreign customers coming. Mostly Asian based, but then I also start seeing more Europeans and Westerns. They also enjoying this.
Yes.
So I feel like it's more from like now the Asian food is more generalized in their dishes.
Yes.
So they don't have this like
aversion to it, right?
For it. So I see people now starting enjoying like Asian food, let's say.
Yes.
Not only the rolls.
Indeed. So let's get to our, I guess, our final question, at least for now, for Professor Chung. What values can we gain from Busan in trying to become this real coffee city? What do you think, Professor?
Okay, as said before, the cafe is not the only place for drinking coffee.
Sure.
The cafe has been used by Korean for their socializing. So they should provide some chances for much more making story of Busan. So sometimes they can provide a place for the performance or they're like a reading together and then like a singing or anyway the Yark, the name the cafe big cafe in Yeongdo.
Piak.
Piak. Yeah. Okay, yeah, right. So they also provide some kind of chances of this kind of the art activity.
Sure.
So the many new cafe maybe it should not be the only place for just like taking photo for their SNS. So
right.
it has more than that. So
yes.
it could provide some chances for some interaction among the people, I think.
Yes, thank you. And I do have a final question for all three of you, and we would appreciate short answers. Chef Lee, how does food shape a person's identity? I know it's kind of a tough one, a philosophical one, but what would you say?
Well, I think, it's strongly related to, let's say, when you choose a dish, I think you can kind of tell what kind of person he is, the characteristic as well.
Let's
say someone who likes to choose, let's say, spicy food. I think that person could be more adventurous.
I see.
And some people, let's say, they eat healthy food. I think that person concerned about the wellness or
of course.
Environmental issues.
Sure.
So choosing the food that they like to eat, I think that represents what kind of person they are. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely identify.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I see the connection, definitely. Professor Jung, your thoughts? Same question.
Okay, actually I had lived in the Philippines and then my specialized area was in the Philippines and then one of the food in the Philippines is halo-halo. Actually the meaning is the mixed. The halo-halo is like a popping soup and then mixed with many materials.
Yes.
But it can also symbolize or represent the identity of the Filipino to mix the Eastern culture and the Western culture together, and then this hybridity is their own tradition.
Yes.
I think that in Busan, they are very practical, I said. So they can use the material for converting this material into the new food, like milmyeon, and then they use the other material for this. So I think the one of the identity of the Busan people are very practical.
Yes, practical. And we're going to end with Professor Millard. Your thoughts? Food and identity.
So I would say similar to Chef Lee. So in English, we have a saying, you are what you eat.
Yes.
And so like I said before, I'm a very picky eater. And British food, as you know, is quite simple. It's quite bland.
Yes.
So my wife always says that I have a choding 입맛. And it fits well because I am also quite immature, like a young schoolboy.
Yes.
So I think that's quite fitting.
Well, I do want to thank all of you for coming on air with us once again for Talk Busan, as we talked about gourmet and Coffee City Busan. And I do have to wrap up already. This program was created with funding from Busan Metropolitan City's Regional Broadcast Development Support Program. 이 프로그램은 부산광역시 지역방송 발전 지원 사업 보조금을 지원받아 제작되었습니다. So it's time to say goodbye. So thank you once again. We can wave to the cameras in a little bit. Final song for today, real short though. Delicious by Gangnam. Have a wonderful weekend, listeners, and join us on Monday. Bye, everybody.
나를 감싸는 햇살 너 따뜻해 어쩐지 특별한 기분이야 커피 향기 같은 하루면 좋겠어 휘핑 가득 얹은 라떼처럼 My day 매일매일 알고 싶어져 하루하루 내게 모든 게 다 궁금해 작은 선물 상자 같은 나의 하루에 또 오늘은 뭐가 있을지 매일매일 난 두근대는 마음 안고서
Your bridge to the world. BEFM Busan 영어 방송.
English with
부산 아지매